So I have a question to lead things off, and then I have a source, and I have three observations at the end of this. But here's where I want to start this. I want to start this with a question as opposed to an assertion, because the assertion really is that the downfall of the mainstream media is good for everyone. And take that into consideration when I'm asking this question. So, if you talk to people who consider themselves on the left wing, they will say that the entire media apparatus is a right wing ordeal. If you talk to people who consider themselves right wing, they will say that the entire media is a left wing ordeal. So I have to ask you this. When you talk about how good it is that the mainstream media is failing and has basically already failed, we just haven't seen the final act yet. When you talk about that, you get attitude, guff, pushback, snottiness from people on the left side of things, but not from people on the right side of things. Why would that be if the entire media apparatus was, in fact, a right wing ordeal? Why would that be? I don't think it would be, but here's what I don't understand. I don't understand why anyone would be opposed to the fall of the mainstream media. The mainstream media is going away. The mainstream media has misled for so long that I don't understand any redeeming quality that it actually has. The principles of what it should be, I agree with. The principles of having somewhere that you can look to for truth is an important thing. However, the mainstream media has let us down in that category for decades now. In an article titled CNN Job Cuts Are a Painful Reminder of Where TV News is Heading by David Bloom, we get the following. CNN's announcement that it is cutting 200 employees, 6% of its cable side production staff, even as it is hiring for new positions in other kinds of digital media distribution, is a painful reminder that what worked in the news business for decades isn't working now. And one thing that I think is interesting to note here, cutting 200 employees is 6% of the cable side news. If you do the math on that, so long as I am reading that correctly, 200 people is 6% of 3,333-ish people. Meaning that if you do a little bit of Googling, and hopefully these numbers are correct, the entirety of CNN, the cable news network, the entirety of CNN, is the size of about 2 Amazon warehouses. That is what we're led to believe is the most trusted name in news. 2 Amazon warehouses full of people, and we're going to get to the ilk of those people a little bit later in the observations here. But the article continues, the cuts, other than their extent, weren't a surprise. Thompson has been trying to figure out the future of the 24-hour cable news channel since he arrived, and the cable news business as a whole has been slashed by accelerated cord cutting from cable audiences. Thompson recently told staff that the company has devoted $70 million so far to build out its presence in various digital ventures designed to attract subscriber dollars outside the traditional cable news structure. This is saying we are going to other places besides cable news. So maybe we will just be known as in. What these other revenue streams are, I have to concede, I don't know. I'm sure they have a YouTube channel. I'm sure they are verified on X, but if it's anything outside of that, I have no idea what it is they're talking about. They were doing, I thought, a streaming service for a little while, but I thought that already went defunct. Pardon me for not being better educated on this exact story. But the article continues, the changes we're announcing today are part of an ongoing response by this great news organization to profound shifts in the way audiences in America consume news. Thompson told employees in a memo, i.e., not through cable, i.e., not through legacy media. Now, CNN is banking on it being the latter, not or being the former, not the latter, hoping that it is that people just aren't watching cable, not that people don't trust CNN. And the transition Thompson is trying to achieve isn't a slam dunk. Making more subscription worthy online content isn't simple. In the CNN brand, is the CNN brand a global girdling name long treasured for its far-flung correspondents reporting live on breaking news worth what it once was? It is not. Global news coverage is expensive. In recent years, various versions of the channel have focused more on opinions and outrage than hard news. Will an online pivot to, say, offerings focused on cooking or literature or science necessarily draw audiences just because CNN is involved? Let me add a little bit of color right here. I have a literature channel on YouTube, Stripped Cover Lit, over 14,000 subscribers. I can tell CNN right now, you don't want to go into that business. That business isn't there to be had. That is a labor of love for me, and you can look across the spectrum at literature channels. The people making money on literature channels, the people getting views on literature channels, the people doing well with literature channels largely aren't focused on, guess what? Literature. Now, I am not judging them, but they do book hauls. Okay, fine. They do Friday reads, something I've kind of gotten back into, but it is not a literature-based discussion. Not normally, not the way most people do it. They will do read with me videos where they just turn the camera on and read in front of it. Now, by the almighty, I have no idea what the draw is for any of these kinds of videos, but it's there, and that's what people do well with. I don't know how CNN translates that. I just don't. So maybe they can be successful. It won't be with literature as literature is. It will be with literature as literature is marketed. That's just what that is. And that's not sour grapes on my end. I'm going to keep doing that regardless of whether or not there's not a whole lot of market there to be had. I'm just making the statement that cooking, I guess, maybe you have to do it well because there's channels for that. Science, maybe. I don't know how CNN's going to do science better than a handful of YouTubers that I watch. These are hardly the first big cut CNN has faced over the years. A quarter century ago, Time Warner's misbegotten merger with AOL led to a 10% cut in staff, or about 400 positions. The seemingly endless recombinations of CNN's parent organizations with various suitors since then, culminating most recently with the 2022 spinoff from AT&T into Warner Bros. Discovery, have also occasioned reductions and other budget cuts. More recently, CNN has been mired in a complicated decline. Under Jeff Zucker in the first Trump administration, CNN was a reliable... Zucker was the CNN guy, not a Trump guy. So he wasn't. It's sort of a confusing sentence if you don't know who the people are. Zucker was the CNN guy. He was just the CNN guy during the time where Trump was in office. CNN was a reliable bastion of left-wing opinion. This being operative, left-wing opinion. featuring a string of high-profile primetime personalities who grabbed audiences while providing a substantive, opposing view to longtime cable ratings champ Fox News. Now, why would they be failing during this moment? Because no one trusts them anymore. It seems Fox News is still doing gangbusters in the ratings. So it is not the fact that cable, strictly speaking, is failing. It is that CNN is failing. Now, the three things that I want to talk about in correlation with this video are this. What is next for the legacy media? It is worth noting that cable means nothing anymore. Cable is obsolete, even if Fox seems to be doing just fine there. Fewer and fewer people are even getting the service, meaning there is YouTube, there is X/Twitter, and there is streaming. Outside of that, I don't know what you're doing. So, just like CNN doesn't own cable, they are hosted on cable, they will not own YouTube, and they will not own X. But I assume that they are making some form of money from those things. The idea of streaming is a brand idea. Someone has to buy into your brand, who you are, what you represent as an organization, in order to want to pony up the money to get your streaming service. Right now, I simply don't think they have that social equity. Right now, it seems that anything CNN touches turns to trash. Right now, it seems that anything CNN does is just tainted with what the article asserts is left-wing opinion. This will, unfortunately, leave a void in coverage. I think that there will be those to pick it up. The article notes that international coverage of things is expensive. And that's true. You can't just get on YouTube and know what's going on. You can't start making YouTube videos and understand the nuances of the Ukraine war, of what's going on with Israel and Gaza. You can't get on YouTube, start making videos, and suddenly be tapped into the business acumen of China and why they are trying so hard to do X, Y, and Z. That will emerge. There will be people who are YouTubers, who are X personalities in different places. And you see this in the niches already. I follow the Tesla story on YouTube pretty closely. It's interesting to me. And a lot of these YouTubers who talk about Tesla and talk about Tesla nearly exclusively have started to sort of corral each other at different times. They have started to pop up in each other's videos. There are people who specialize in drone flyovers of the car plants, the factories. There are people who are in different countries. They offer on the ground specialization. I think what we will end up doing is moving to a world where there are personalities that are on the ground. There are personalities who specialize in different things, and it will literally be a specialist, unlike what we get from the mainstream media time and time again, where it's, oh, here is our Ukraine war correspondent. And it's just someone who was sent there today, is getting a couple sound bites, getting a couple news clips, and leaving. It will be people who live in the area. The rise of the independent reporter, the rise of the individual is coming. And I think that this is paramount towards a better future, a future that is less painted by organizations like CNN. I think it is also worth noting that this does not mean that the American audience has no taste for journalistic integrity. It simply means that we do not trust the legacy media to do that job. It simply means that we do not trust those individuals at these organizations at all. The main place that I can point to exemplify that is number 3 there, poor Don Lemon. I would like to make fun of Don Lemon. I kind of can't stand Don Lemon. I'm not going to make fun of Don Lemon other than to say poor Don Lemon. That's a little bit making fun. Don Lemon went out on his own. Don Lemon was a long time personality on these types of networks, very successful personality on these types of networks. I think at one time he was one of the top 3 top paid personalities on one of these networks, if I'm not mistaken, and I could be mistaken. This could be completely misremembering things, but he was definitely a very high paid individual on these networks. Don Lemon went out on his own. He started on Twitter/X. Many of us remember how that ended. It ended with Elon Musk granting him a one-on-one interview. And Don Lemon tried a bunch of gotcha questions, but Elon Musk did not give gotcha answers. Until Don Lemon kept giving gotcha questions, and it was clear that he had no idea what it was that Elon Musk was actually saying, because he was not responding to the replies that Elon Musk was giving him. He was responding with the pre-written questions that he had worked up because he thought he knew what answers were coming. This was a great reveal that Don Lemon, and look, if you already knew this, you already knew this. A lot of people already knew this. Don Lemon's a moron. That's fine. He gets to be a moron. As long as he's sitting behind a desk and he's got a producer in his ear telling him what to say, there's a teleprompter that says, hey, this is the portion of the show we're going to next, he can be an idiot. Where that does not serve you is as an independent creator. It became immediately obvious that Don Lemon was not cut out to be a content creator. Now, he has started a YouTube channel. And again, I am not mocking Don Lemon here. This YouTube is very difficult. There are people who are successful on YouTube, and they are successful on YouTube in waves because it is so difficult. They become successful, that success patters out. They become successful, that success patters out. Don Lemon is gaining, I believe Don Lemon is around 300,000, maybe around 400,000 subscribers. He's gaining around 3,900 subscribers per day. He gets 266,357 views per day, according to Social Blade. Social Blade's not 100% accurate, but that's what Social Blade says. 266,000 views per day. He's also doing 1 or 2 uploads per day. A lot of his videos are 45 minutes long. If you have watched any of these, so a lot of his videos are 45 minutes long. Some of his videos are shorts, not shorts, but 5-minute-ish videos. Those videos routinely get between 4,000 and 7,000 views. And I'm just going to let you know, as someone who has 2 channels monetized on YouTube, 4,000 to 7,000 views gets you no money. It doesn't make you money. Again, not saying this to mock Don Lemon. This is cutthroat. Content creation is cutthroat. The problem for Don Lemon is he's just not talented. Not in a one-on-one, you and the camera type of setting. That's not where Don Lemon shines. Don Lemon was very good with a teleprompter. Just was. I can't stand him. He was very good with a teleprompter and a producer in his ear. Sounded very authoritative. Sounded like he knew what he was doing. Click on any of his videos. I defy you. I defy you to go 5 minutes without hearing an without hearing a very, very prolonged pause. He's just not cut out to be, and I'm not, I watch plenty of people who are not cut out to be content creators is because I like their personality. Is because I like what it is that they specialize in. But you have to have something, right? And I'm not saying this to pick on Don Lemon. The reason I'm talking about this is that there's going to be a lot of these voices, a lot of these talking heads who think, well, my stuff's just getting slashed at CNN, right? CNN is trying to rework my contract so that I make 25% of what I had made. I'm not doing that. I'll go out on my own. They have a harsh reality coming. So part of this next wave for media, in my opinion, is that we will have people who are much better suited to talk about things. People who will not look in front of a camera with no script the way that Don Lemon looks in front of a camera with no script. That is a very good thing, in my opinion. I don't see how the legacy media failing is either a right-wing or a left-wing phenomenon. So, that is all I have for this video. If you like or appreciate what it is that I do here, hitting a like button really does help me out, as it tells YouTube to share this video with others. And if you find yourself here by chance but not design, I upload multiple videos on multiple subjects, so consider hitting the subscribe button to stick around for more. And as always, I hope to have you back for the next video.